I'm your host, James Yoder. We've got another Michigan football mailbag. Not a ton going on outside recruiting, so I thought I'd address the questions from you, the Michigan football fan base, let you know what I think on this upcoming season, the program, Jim Harbaugh's future, and recruiting. Jeffrey Vrabel, coming up with this question: how do you think the university reacts to the new allegations against Bo? The statue, the name of the building, do they get removed? It is an interesting topic, and I don't know what to make of what is going on with, did Bo Schembechler know? Did he not know? Did players tell him? Did he report it to the right people? But I will say this. I don't necessarily find his son, his adopted stepson, super credible. There's been a lot of things that have come on since he is, went out and said that he was sexually assaulted by Dr. Anderson, and he told his dad. The rest of his family members don't agree with that. His son Shemi, his stepmother, etc., Bo's wife when he passed away, or when she passed away before he did. But nevertheless, there's a lot of people out there that have not agreed with him, that know Matt Schembechler very well. Some people have honestly put out there that he's been in and out of homelessness, etc., and they may be going for money. Now, if it turns out that Bo Schembechler did know and didn't do anything about it, then maybe there's some validity behind bringing his statue down, naming a building after him. But he's been dead for 15 years at this point. I have a tough time saying that outside of someone actually doing the crime themselves, taking down and trying to erase history, if you were going to say that Bo Schembechler did something that is completely unacceptable in the eyes of the university, in the eyes of any real public forum, I would say this: why not put a plaque up against that statue in front of Schembechler Hall, that Bo Schembechler statue, and say, Bo Schembechler, record, Big Ten titles, record versus Ohio State, also was cited in allegations that he didn't report it. So don't hide from the history. Embrace it. Let people know that this guy was flawed, and we're not going to act like 21 years of our history didn't exist. Same with the building. So I don't necessarily think, outside of someone finding out that he definitely tried to cover something up on purpose, that they should tear things down. But I'm going to ask you guys this question. Let me know. Am I off base? What do you do with the Bo statue? And if you want to include Schembechler Hall, the Michigan practice and kind of headquarters for the coaches, keep the name on it. Remove the name. Type K if it's keep, type R for remove down in the comments. Let me know what you guys think. Do you agree with me that you don't have to cancel people, erase history, or do you say remove it? Let's wipe the slate clean of Bo Schembechler at Michigan. Logan Mills, next question. Why is Jim not making a point to start JJ? I get if he's not ready, but I feel he's only not starting because he's a freshman. Well, from what we heard in spring practice, JJ McCarthy had a very tough time with getting the ball into the hands of his receivers. I heard at one point from someone who saw practice that on throws past 10 yards downfield, that McCarthy was throwing interceptions on like 20 to 25% of his passes. So one of every 4 passes downfield are getting picked off. He was supposed to be a senior in high school. This is spring of his senior year. He graduated early, so I'm not going to hold that against him. But what Jim Harbaugh needs to do is put the best player that puts Michigan in a chance to win. That is likely Cade McNamara, from what I've heard. But Alan Bowman's out there. He started as a true freshman 3 years ago at Texas Tech. I'm not, pushing him to a side. I think Alan Bowman definitely has the opportunity to be Michigan's starting quarterback if he comes in and presses and knows the offense better than J.J. McCarthy, better than Cade McNamara do for the University of Michigan football team. So that's my thoughts on there. I don't think it's because of the freshman. I think it's likely because he's not the best player. We are presented by Newsbreak. You've heard me talk about Newsbreak before in the past. Go download it. Type it in your browser. chatsports.com/MichiganNB. That helps us kind of get some attribution. They can see how many people will watch the show, listen to what I say, and go do it. Frankly, I wouldn't tell you to go download it if I didn't use it myself. It keeps me involved in understanding what's going on in local news and weather in the city I live in, politics, and sports content. You've got our videos on there, so if you're watching now on YouTube and you go over to Newsbreak, you'll see Michigan Football Report right there. You see it. Make sure you follow us when you go do it. But what's going on in politics? What's going on in the police blotter with local COVID-19 restrictions? They have news from every source on the internet, including all other sports sources that you need to know about it. So go download it. iPhone, Android, type it into your browser, redirect you to the App Store, chatsports.com/MichiganNB. Question coming in from Thomas Kerr. We just mentioned him. Alan Bowman, where is the transfer QB from Texas Tech? Very good question. And I don't sugarcoat things. I hope you guys, if you watched the show in the past, you know this about me. I'm not going to say that Alan Bowman's going to come in and be the starting quarterback or even be a competitive quarterback for this Michigan team, but I've already seen it started, right? The blog boys need something to write about, and they are going to try and sell you all summer. I will put this down. I'm going to come back to it in a month and say, you see, I said I was right. You're going to start hearing in the dog days of June and July for these writers of newspapers and blogs and pay sites that cover Michigan that Alan Bowman, he's making it happen. Alan Bowman is super accurate. He is tearing it up in off-season 7-on-7 workouts. So I hope he comes in and competes. That's exactly what Michigan needs. But as of now, from when I've seen him on film, he's a good passer, but there's a reason that he's not starting at Texas Tech and had to transfer. If he wins the job, I hope he does excellent. But we'll see what happens when they get into camp about 6 weeks from now, first week of August, prior to that opener against Western Michigan. But here's the question of the day. The Michigan football quarterback poll question. The starting QB in 2021. Let's just say game 1 against Western on September 4th. J.J. McCarthy, go down in the comments, type J. If it's Cade McNamara, type C. If it's Alan Bowman, the Texas Tech transfer quarterback, type A. It's pretty easy. Just the first initial of their first name, or I guess J.J. McCarthy, first initial of his initials. J, C, or A. I'm going to put my letter down there as C. Let me know what you guys think. Becky and Chad, a little combo count for you two. Becky and Chad, thanks so much for watching. Do you think that Michigan can make a run at the playoff this season with the talent they have in this year's team and play callers? I do not. Frankly, I do not. Way too inexperienced. The offensive line has a lot of guys coming back that got experience last year, but weren't setting the world on fire from an offensive line perspective. Hassan Haskins, that's a good running back. You've got Blake Corum. You've got Donovan Edwards. Decent running back core, but think about the teams that are making the playoffs. They have stars at wide receiver. Michigan does not have a star at wide receiver. They have Ronnie Bell, who is a very good wide receiver, and some other guys trying to make their name. They have no stars in the offensive line. They have no stars at the running back position. They have no proven talent at all at the quarterback position. Not to mention, the defense last year could be considered amongst the worst in school history based on the passing numbers that these teams put up on them. So absolutely, I think this is Jim Harbaugh's least likely team in his 7 years to make the college football playoff. When are you leaving? From Mike Brown. So twofold here, Mike. If you're talking to me and you're being a hater to me, and when am I leaving? I'm not going anywhere, baby. This Michigan football report is rolling on with or without Jim Harbaugh, with or without Mike Brown, and we're going to keep putting out shows because I think people like how we deliver the news, how we talk, how we give you a little inside information when we have it. If this was directed at Jim Harbaugh, I think we're going to find out in early December this year whether he's leaving. If his team is 7-5 or worse, I think he might be leaving then. Better, they're probably going to give him one more year. How about this one? Similar question, kind of group these together. If Michigan goes 500 this year and loses to Ohio State, does Will Johnson stay committed to Michigan? Think about it from his perspective, okay? Michigan put out some really good defensive backs for the first 4 or 5 years of Jim Harbaugh's tenure. But that defensive back coach, Mike Stewart, is gone. That defensive coordinator, Don Brown, is gone. And so if this team goes 500 with new defensive, two new coaches, the secondary, a new defensive coordinator, why would he, right? His dad was a big-time football player, played at Michigan himself. They know what they have. If your son is one of the top 10 or 12 players in the entire country for football, for basketball, you are sitting on generational money if he is developed properly, goes in, plays, again, on a winning program, and gets drafted in the first or second round in the NFL draft. Ohio State, Alabama, Clemson, Oklahoma, plenty of schools have proven they can do a better job at that. At Michigan, I'm not talking, Michigan did very well in the draft lately. 14 players, 11 players, they've done pretty well. But they have not put 5, 6 first-rounders into the NFL draft like some of these other schools have. And if you're a 5-star, top 10 player in the country, like he is, I don't necessarily think that he would not look around. I think he loves Michigan. I think he wants Michigan to be great. I think he wants to be a part of his class. But if Michigan was 500 and they look bad and they get blown up by Ohio State, Will Johnson just might look around when push comes to shove towards the end of this fall. But I'm going to ask you guys, am I being too pessimistic? Predict Michigan's record down below, 2021 record, 12 games in the schedule. So don't give me any of this, well, they'll be 9-5 because they'll make it to the Big Ten title game and lose, and then go to the bowl game. None of that, okay? I want to just know the 12 games on the schedule. Give me your prediction. I'm going 7-5. You let me know down in the comments. Rambo Slice, big-time name. Big question, where is Andre Seldon on the depth chart, and will he see the field? I think he is in the top 4 rotation in cornerbacks right now. likely competing or leading to start to be the third corner out there in a nickel situation. That is, provided that Daxton Hill doesn't move to that nickel role, which possibly could happen. If Michigan feels that they have two safeties that are better than their top three cornerbacks, other than Dax Hill, you might see Hill be the starting safety, but when they go in 5 and 6 players in the secondary, one of the extra safeties can come on the field. Dax Hill can move down in more of a nickel role, cornerback role. So I think he will get some playing time. He's the early favorite to be the starting nickel corner. And frankly, Michigan's cornerbacks last year were amongst the worst in school history at giving up big plays. So Andre Seldon, go grab that starting job at one of the top two roles because nothing is firm and nothing is committed when it comes to that depth chart in the secondary. Chad, top_dogs11. Why do we have Gattis? And this is just some real talk here from Chad. That's why I want to put this question. His offense is soft. It's slow to develop the line of scrimmage, and he's just an okay recruiter. And Harbaugh takes over all the play calling after the third quarter of the first game of the season. I'm not sure about that at all times, but Gattis had a good run. Penn State game through the first half of the Ohio State game in 2019. Since the first half of that season in 2019, abject failure, absolute disaster, and all of last season outside the Minnesota game. But Michigan scored 49 points. They should have had 70 or 80 points in that Minnesota team, looking back at how good Michigan was playing early on. So Josh Gattis does not get a pass from me at this point. And if he struggles with a new quarterback and 5 straight games that Michigan should conceivably be considered have the opportunity to win to start the year. You've got Washington, Rutgers, and some meddling schools in between there. If Michigan is 3-2 or worse and the offense looks like crap, don't be surprised if Josh Gattis gets the yank on him midseason and is not the offensive coordinator if Michigan starts off this year slow. CardSnoop at CardSnoop. Last question for us. Everyone is bracing for a repeat of last year, but what if they play great? Does Harbaugh stay or does he leave for the NFL? Stay? I mean, if they play great, and this would not be against Jim Harbaugh's DNA or what he's proven. Think about 2015. Jim Harbaugh came in. He had all the doubters and haters. He went to 3 straight NFC championship games. The doubters, the controversy and the turmoil at the front office in San Francisco, and it affected the play on the field. They went 8-8. He decides to leave, whether they fired him or not, or they just departed ways. He went to become the coach of Michigan. Turned down a program that had been historically great, had turned downturned under Brady Hoke, Rich Rodriguez, 5-7 to 10-3 the next year, and should have been 11-2 because remember it was the Michigan State year, the botched punt. Michigan could have been 11-2 that year. The same guys. So could Michigan go from 2-4, the same guys, to 10-3, 11-2? Absolutely. And if they did, that means we'd have old Harbaugh back, and there's no way in hell he's going to turn around and then not kind of reap the benefits of what he builds after all the crap he's taken the last 2 or 3 years from me, from you, from national media. So if he turns around, no way he's going to the NFL. And if he doesn't turn around, then no way the NFL is going to want him. So that's kind of how I see it. I think Jim Harbaugh is Michigan or bust, at least for the next few years in his coaching career.